Okay, my name is Ellen Nixon. I am going to start tonight's financial aid meeting. We may have a few more people that join in here, which would be great. But the meeting does start at 5:30. I don't want to hold those of you that are here now over for any reason. We are going to get this financial aid information to you as efficiently as possible. There will be time for questions. We do hope that what we present to you this evening, you will find valuable and you will take advantage of when the meeting is done. So again, my name is Ellen Nixon. I work in the Office of Career Development at C-TEC, and really my main role in these meetings is simply to host them. So we have representatives from Ohio. Well, we should have a representative from Ohio Means Jobs. They were not able to make it here this evening, so I'm going to run through their scholarship information. We have Janet Fletcher, who is from our Adult Education Center, and she is going to talk to you about the FAFSA. Amy Dell is here from the Licking County Foundation to talk to you about the scholarship opportunities there. And then we also have Karen Jones from Goodwill Industries. So if you are here, hopefully you're here to obtain some information on scholarships as well as FAFSA. It's a word I cannot say and I say it wrong every time. I also want to speak on behalf of our presenters that this is not necessarily our favorite format to provide information. Zoom meetings are not ideal, I think, for any of us, but they are efficient, and given, you know, the illness and everything else going on, they get the job done. So we welcome everybody. We hope that if you do have a question, you'll drop it in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask us what your questions are. Okay, oops, hold on one second. I went too fast, guys. Let me back up here. I would like you to, we definitely want your contact information. So if you are able to scan this QR code, if you have another phone, it is going to take you directly to a Google form. And that Google form, really the most important part of the Google form is that I get your email. When this meeting is done, actually, I'm going to drop the link in the chat too. That didn't work. Let me try that again. Let me see here. Okay, I dropped the link in the chat. Let me go back to the QR code. I have too many things to try to control here. The link is in the chat and the QR code is up. And if you would, I'm going to give you all a minute here. If you would just take a minute to fill out the information in that Google form. When the meeting is done, at some point tomorrow, I'm going to send you all a document that has the contact information of our presenters, as well as the websites that we are going to take you to and the steps to look for the scholarship information. So it is to your advantage to fill out that form and make sure you give me a correct email so we can get you the information that you've come to this meeting for. Should you need a recap, I would need a recap. So if you could take a minute and do that, I'll give you a couple minutes here to click on that link, fill out the form. In the meantime, my presenters, Amy, I think in the past we've started with you. I think we'll probably start with the Licking County Foundation again, just to sort of keep things the way that they are. Kay will go with Goodwill Industries, and then Janet, you can go ahead after that, or I can do the Ohio Means Jobs piece. It doesn't matter. So, all right. Okay. I hope at this point, everybody has had a chance to at least log into that Google form. At the end of this, I will have a slide with my contact information. So if you missed anything from the beginning, you can also write down my contact information. You can call or send me an email, and I will try to catch you up with anything that you may have missed at the beginning. So again, for some reason, my slides are not the way I want them to. Okay, real quickly before we do present, I want you, if any of you joining in are C-TEC students, this meeting is open to all of our students in Licking County. But if any of you are C-TEC students, I do want to make you aware of the fact that there is a TEA scholarship offered to C-TEC students. It will be available to you around spring break. So the last I heard, a link will be sent to everyone's email at C-TEC at the end of spring break. I just want to make you aware of that for you to watch for it. And the way that they distribute those scholarship funds vary every year. It depends on what kind of money they have and how many applicants they get, but it is definitely worth your while to click on that link and see what it is that you need to do in order to earn some of the money from the TEA scholarship that is offered here to C-TEC students. Okay. Moving ahead, again, I have a slide with our presenters and links to their websites on this. So Amy, I'm going to start with you, and hopefully this all will work the way I'd like it to. Fingers crossed. So Amy is from the Licking County Foundation. They have lots and lots of scholarship opportunities, and she is going to show me how to navigate this page. So if you're here and you want to know how to find those scholarship opportunities, we're going to go through the steps, hopefully in a clean manner. Okay.
Thanks, Ellen. You're
Sure.
going to show them all how easy this is.
Okay.
So this is our webpage that Ellen just took us to. So this is your starting point. And you'll go to the menu for scholarships.
Okay.
And go ahead and drop down to 2022 scholarship program.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Now, I love that general information came up first. There is a lot of helpful information about the scholarship program on that tab, but this is where we want to be in order to get to the application link.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the abbreviated version of this just in the interest of time, because otherwise I'll take the whole session just to talk about this, and I don't do that because you have lots of other important info to share. So scrolling down a little bit, there is an FAQ document linked here. Importantly, I want to point out the dates. The scholarship application will be open until 5 p.m. on Monday, January 24th. At exactly 5 p.m., the application will close and nothing further can be submitted after that point. That is an absolute hard deadline. There's a note there about not using Internet Explorer as the browser. It just doesn't, it's not compatible with the online platform. And also importantly, trying to complete this on your phone will not be successful. Some of the links are not visible. I also can't imagine trying to type an essay over your phone. So do this on a desktop or a laptop or a Chromebook. Go to the library if you have to use a computer, or work at school if you're having in-person school days. But click here to apply. That's the place we want to go.
Okay.
And I'm going to presume that anybody listening in tonight is not a prior applicant. So we're going to treat this, the tips I'm going to give you tonight are for somebody who's a new applicant. So when you arrive at this page in that gray box, there's actually some helpful information, but everybody here, we're going to treat as a new user. So you're going to click on the button to create a new account. What Ellen's doing right now is what you would do after you've created your account. So you're going to start by create new account. And then you're going to be prompted to enter some information. Again, I'm not going to read through all the details that are there, but there's some helpful information there, such as using standard capitalization and that sort of thing. High school seniors, again, I'm going to assume everybody in the audience tonight is probably a high school student. For the purposes of tonight, Ellen's going to use her own email address, but it's really important that you not use your school issued email, because after you graduate, you won't have access to that email anymore. And this account stays with you the whole time you're attending school. So you can apply for things after your high school senior year. We have lots of scholarship opportunities for people who are currently attending a traditional undergrad program or working on a technical degree or possibly a trade certificate. So build an account that you'll continue to have access to.
That's good advice.
Asterisks after it is required. So I think you've got everything in there. You just need to tell us which type of phone number.
Okay, just click on mobile phone.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I didn't for you to put an asterisk.
Oh,
I was all the fields with an asterisk. are required.
Oh, wow. Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right. Okay,
And
so
then we
mobile
just,
number.
yep, and we keep scrolling down. The alternate phone number is just in the event that you want to give us one. It's not required.
Okay,
State does need to be entered as a 2-letter abbreviation. So you'd need to go down to the state and enter OH.
okay. Yeah, it did
This
autofill
is,
on me, so.
that's okay. Yeah, I know. And this is a great example though, because errors are signaled exactly the way they're showing up here, where it's
Mhm.
not submitted or move on for you, it will direct you back with these red outlined messages about what needs to be fixed.
Okay, so
You will scroll
username.
down. I think that one just hasn't cleared yet, perhaps, or maybe you have a space in there. I don't know.
I think they look the same. We'll give it a shot.
Possibly a space after the com on this one, maybe. Nope.
Sorry, let me just make
It's
sure.
okay.
Okay, there. Okay, I
That
think the
cleared
red
it.
one away.
Yep.
Okay,
That seems to have cleared it.
okay.
You'll scroll down to the section about password. You'll create your own password.
Okay, hold on.
Just want to mention that the foundation doesn't store or have access to the passwords.
Okay. All right, so on my screen, is there something I should click on?
You'll
Just hit next?
scroll down into that section. If you'll just scroll or move the arrow
It is, okay, I'm gonna try.
side. Is it not wanting? There we go.
Yeah, it wouldn't scroll down. Okay, so.
Okay, so you will enter, according to the description there, at least 6 characters, capital and lowercase numbers,
Okay,
characters that are noted there.
okay,
So, creating your own password is important. You'll need to remember what it is because the foundation can't provide that for you. However, on the login page, there is a place to click forgot password if necessary.
okay.
Once you've built your password, you'll click the blue button over on the right.
Create account.
Mhm.
Okay,
This is where it's going to tell you that it has sent an email
Yeah.
address that you entered.
So I'm gonna pull that.
You need to go to your email.
Yeah. Yes, so I pulled down my email from my other monitor.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you have received that email, then you would click the appropriate button over here.
It says you can log onto the site here. Is that where I click?
I'm not looking at the email with you. I'm still seeing the screen for the email confirmation.
Oh, I'm
page.
so sorry. You can't. Okay.
That's okay. It didn't switch us over.
It didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought
That's
that would
okay.
work. It did not work. Okay, so what I'm seeing is an email confirmation in my Gmail account that says, "Welcome to the Licking County Foundation Scholarships Online Application." It tells me my username, which is my email address, and then it says you can log on to the site here. So do I go ahead and click here?
Yep, go ahead and click that.
All right, I am sorry that this is not working the way. Okay, are you still just seeing my PowerPoint? Or
yes, or we're still just seeing the online screen. So if you click that radio button that says I have received the email
okay. Hold
on the screen shared page.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Now I have too many things open. Sheesh.
Here we go.
This is not what I want.
No.
Back
on the PowerPoint page.
There you go.
On that,
There you
on
go.
that page.
Okay, this is the one. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
Okay.
And then do you see those 3 radio buttons?
Yes.
Okay, so click the top one that says you've received it.
Okay. And then do I click continue?
Minimize here. Yes, I'm sorry. The pictures of the participants were hiding that for me. So go ahead and click continue.
Okay. Oops.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. Because you received the email, if you would, we're just going to go back to the scholarship page of the
Okay.
website. And this is exactly why we're walking through this. So stop right here, pause right here, because this
Okay.
is what that's what we were trying to get to, is this
Okay.
page. So because you've created your account and clicked on the link in your email, this is where it should bring you, is to this logon page.
Okay.
Will now be considered an existing user. You'll enter your email address and the password you created and click log on.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Okay.
And there we go.
Okay.
All right. So ignore the blue box. There is not an access code for this application. It is simply that it is the only publicly available application that is open. You could click on the preview link if you just wanted to get a sense of what's there and what you need to be prepared to provide.
Okay.
You can also go back to the application. And you can click on the blue button to begin your application. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do, Ellen, is go ahead and click on that blue button that says apply on the right-hand side there.
Okay.
Right next to the dates. It reminds you of the deadline. And this is the application. So again, I'm going to skim past all of these super important instructions, and but we spend a lot of time writing those to make this as well explained and easy for someone to complete as possible. I do want to mention one thing that's new this year. If you'll scroll back up just a little bit. Something that we're trying for the first time this year is adding the option of Google Translate being enabled. So all the way up at the very top, there's an option to click on in the far left corner where you see the Google logo, little down. And if you had to translate some of the questions in order to make sure you understand them, if English is not your first language, you have the option to do that. But importantly to note is that all of your responses do have to be provided in English. So it's a one-way translation piece. It's intended to help anybody that might need it to make sure that they understand the items on the application, but you will enter your answers in English.
Excellent. That's really helpful.
So if you'll continue down, underneath the instructions there, I want to mention these two certification sections because sometimes they're confusing. They are required based on the foundation's relationship with the Internal Revenue Service. So the first certification, you can't receive a scholarship offer from the foundation if you are one of these people or a relative of one of these people. So we define all that for you and ask you to read through those pieces.
Okay.
In the second certification, that has to do with being a scholarship donor to the foundation, that you are part of a group that established a particular scholarship fund, or again, a relative of one of those people. So for example, if you had if your family had established the XYZ scholarship at the foundation, you could not receive the XYZ scholarship, but you could be eligible to receive scholarship offers from other scholarship opportunities. So we ask you about both of those things. You do need to answer those to continue on. So I will ask you to go ahead and check those radio buttons, Ellen, so we can move through to the next section. So you're clicking that you agree that you're eligible. You're clicking that you are not related to a donor advisor or a donor advisor yourself. What will happen if you click yes is you will be asked to enter the name of the person.
Okay.
Or the name of the scholarship. The next section down is about your status. Everyone who's new is going to be applying as a high school senior. But you notice on there that there are several other categories. And as I mentioned, You've got lots of opportunities to apply. If you are attending school after high school, please come back and check out the opportunities that are available for you, because there are many of them. The next item down asks what kind of documentation you'll be receiving, diploma versus GED. No one who's just graduating, has high school senior as their status, would be able to be a past scholarship recipient. So you'll click no there. County of residence is also a drop-down list. The majority of our scholarships go to Licking County residents, but not all of them require Licking County residency. So we have all the contiguous counties listed there, as well as a category for other.
Would you like me to click other?
Nope, that's perfectly fine. If you did happen to click other, you would need to fill in that box below to tell us.
Okay.
Of residence. This might be for somebody who'd moved, but might have graduated from a Licking County high school in the past, which would make them eligible for certain scholarships. And then you'll move into the body of the application. I'm not going to have Ellen fill all of this out because we simply don't have time for all of that tonight. Well, actually, Ellen, let's give it a try. You don't even have to type in your full name. You can just type in a letter there so that it recognizes something. Gender, you can tell us male, female, or prefer not to specify. We do ask you whether or not English is the primary language spoken in your home, so we have an awareness of that when we're evaluating. GPA, important about this for high school seniors to know is that you don't have to attach any sort of transcript. We will confirm your GPA with your guidance counselor after the application has closed. It's really important to be honest and accurate here, because if there's a large discrepancy between what you tell us on your application and what your guidance counselor verifies, we might have to disqualify your application.
Okay.
Our minimum GPA for most scholarships is 2.0. In some cases, it's higher, but you would fill in what yours is.
And give myself a 3.25.
And actually, it just takes one decimal point.
Okay.
And so that's fine.
Okay.
And we do ask you to tell us whether or not your GPA is weighted or unweighted if you're a high school senior.
Okay. Say it's weighted.
Great. We ask you for the full year in which you're graduating. And in this case, we're going to say, yes, you're also graduating from C-TEC. There is a section of the application that will appear if you answer yes to the question about FAFSA. We strongly encourage everyone to file FAFSA. So please check yes on that. We'll go ahead and say that we're pursuing a 2-year degree. But those are the options. And let me just say, as far as this goes, we know there are more options than this that exist in the world. The answers to this question are related to certain scholarship opportunities. So pick the one that is closest to what you will be pursuing. All the questions on this, with the exception of the high school senior question, are related to next school year. So if you are planning to go to school for the 22-23 school year, what degree or certificate are you going to be working on in that school year? So we'll assume that that's a 2-year college degree for the purposes of this example. Are you pursuing, is the degree that you're going to be working on related to a professional career, such as the things that are listed there? You can answer either one. And then in what state is it listed? Again, the reason it has just Ohio and West Virginia and then everything else listed the way it is that we have certain scholarship opportunities that require you to attend school in one of those 2 states, but those are the only 2 specific states related opportunities. So go ahead and check Ohio, please. On the next piece down, there's some really important instructions there in red. Unless you are 100% sure that your response will not change before next school year, we ask you to select undecided here. It is a drop-down menu. It is a really long list. These are all schools that the Licking County Foundation has sent scholarship checks to. So it gives you some idea of how many different places students from Licking County have gone to school over the years. The very last option is undecided, and you notice that there's an option for other, just in case we don't have the school you're interested in on the list.
Okay.
But go ahead and select undecided. The reason for selecting undecided and why that's so important is that some of our scholarships require you to go to a certain school in order to accept them. And the same thing is true when we get to the section about your major. And so if you were to tell us that you were going to go to Ohio State University, but then you changed your mind and decided to go to Miami University, if we had offered you a scholarship that required you to attend Ohio State, you would no longer be eligible to accept that scholarship offer. So for high school seniors in particular, we encourage you to leave that at undecided unless you're 100% decided where you'll be going to school. The next one you skip over because you used undecided. That's only if you enter other. Go ahead and check no to the private college or university. Go ahead and check no to the liberal arts college. Again, these are just questions related to particular scholarships. And all of the answers that you're providing on your application will determine what scholarships you are submitted for. Full-time or part-time, you're eligible to receive a scholarship offer in either case, but we have a couple scholarships that require full-time attendance. Which semesters you intend to go to school. So go ahead and check fall and spring. That's the most common. Some people do attend school for the summer semester. What's important to note there is you would only select this option if it was part of the 22-23 school year. Some schools like Ohio State begin their academic year with the summer semester, and other schools like Ohio University end their school year with the summer semester. So you want to know that. If you're not going to be enrolled, go ahead and just enter NA there. Keep through here. This next section is really important because there are a lot of details here. Some of them sound like the same question almost. Each one of these items helps determine your eligibility for a particular scholarship. So it is important that you check all that apply to you, even if they sound like similar answers.
Okay.
If none of them are true for you, you would click the bottom option that says none of these apply to me.
Okay.
Go ahead and check a few of them, like I am a current member of the Licking County Firefighters Association. That's the first one. I have an interest in or participated in fire science or fire services, the next one down. I'm a member of TrueCorp Federal Credit Union. Anything else you like?
Okay. Okay.
All right, and then we'll move on. Now, this is the question, this is the stuff related to your major. Have you officially declared a major or area of study? We're going to say no. And then based on your answer, you would select a major if you had already declared. The only reason you would select more than one answer here is if you were double majoring. And because you've selected no, you're going to scroll to the end, much like you did with the school, and you're going to check undecided. Oh, sorry, just the
sorry.
Checkbox section there.
Here we go. Okay.
We also have undeclared there as an option. If you're already enrolled in school and working on post-secondary classes, you could click undeclared if you were a general sciences major or something like that and had not yet declared your major. We just want to avoid situations where we have a scholarship where the donor requires a particular major, but the student might not be 100% set on that major yet. We hate when we offer scholarships to students that we can't follow through on awarding the scholarship because there's a mismatch between what they actually wind up majoring in and what they thought they might be at the time they applied.
Mhm.
So that's the reason for that advice. These next two sections, I'm going to show them to you, and then I'm going to ask Ellen to click no so that we can keep moving through. These are very important because they tell our evaluators a little bit more about you. In the first one, you can tell us about up to 5 activities that you've participated in while in high school, but they don't have to be associated with your high school. So when you click yes, that you have activities to list, those boxes will appear for you to fill in. If you click no, you'll just move on to the rest of the application. So if you'll click yes just for a moment, Ellen, so they can see
Okay.
there, you'll see
Yeah.
this box comes up. And at the end of every box, it asks you if you have another one to list. And every time you click yes, you'll receive another box up to 5 boxes.
Okay.
If you're using the Common Core application to apply to school, this is very similar information to stuff that you're providing on the Common Core application. Excuse me, I'm saying the wrong thing, the Common App for college. And so you can transfer a lot of that information into here if you've already gathered it for your Common App.
Okay.
So I'll have you click no so we can just move through faster. The same thing is true for this next section. You can tell us about up to 5 honors, awards, or recognitions you might have received. Again, they can come from any aspect of your life, and those boxes will show up as you click yes.
Okay.
So I'll have you click no so that it doesn't give us an error message. And then you'll tell us from which high school did you receive your diploma. You'll notice that C-TEC is not on this list because it would need to be your home high school. And the years that you've attended this high school, you'll see the drop-down options there. And then the essay comes up. You have 3 different prompts you can choose from. So I'll have you go ahead and just click number 1. Choose the one you like the best. You'll click the button for the one you're choosing and then write your essay. I'll just have you type in the word test there so we can keep moving through. It's very important when we assign these essays for evaluation, we do not include any demographic information about you or your name. So please don't include your name in the body of the essay. A lot of times students will do that for school assignments, but we don't want that included here. So don't feel the need to introduce yourself at the beginning of your essay. The next section down is about your test scores if you took them. I'll have you just enter 0 here just to keep moving. It is not a requirement that you've taken either the ACT or the SAT. It's just information that we collect. Guidance counselor name, feel free to just enter anything here. You can enter test, you can enter your own name, Ellen. But we collect your guidance counselor's name and email address because, as I mentioned, we verify your GPA with them. So that's the purpose of collecting that information. And for high school seniors, we also collect a little bit of information about your parent or guardian. So just go ahead and click any button there. And again, you can move through these next pieces by just entering anything at this point. This is where the student, you don't need to fill that one in because you didn't click.
Do I need to fill in?
You'll need to fill in something just so that it doesn't give us an error message.
Okay.
And then we ask you a few pieces of information about whether or not that parent or guardian attended college themselves, whether or not they graduated from college, and if you have a second parent or guardian to include, that box will show up if you click yes, and it won't appear if you click no. Now, I mentioned the FAFSA piece because you answered yes to FAFSA. This is where you'll enter go ahead and click no.
Oh,
We'll skip the section.
okay.
Now you'll enter the expected family contribution number from page 1 of your student aid report. So I'm going to have you go ahead and enter 0 there. That number can range from 0 up to 999,000. But then there's some information there about the document you need to upload. And we are going to get an error message because of this, unless you have a PDF file you want to attach, Ellen. But it's totally fine. Probably what I'll have you do is scroll back up and select no on the FAFSA question so that we can move through the end of this. But
Okay.
students, I just want you to know that it's only page 1 of your student aid report that needs to be attached. We do not need you to give us the entire document.
Okay. I don't even remember where that question was.
Way back up towards the beginning of the application section.
Okay, sorry, don't know where that was.
It's further down than that. It's in the application itself. So that's the applicant step section. And then just a little beyond, there we go.
It is.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you click no, that box is going to go away.
Okay.
I want to mention you don't have to file FAFSA to apply for our scholarships, but it will reduce the number of scholarships that you have available to you to be considered for by about 50%. So you'll have about half as many options available to you. So it's definitely worth submitting FAFSA. I know someone else on the presentation is going to talk more about that, so I won't go into a lot of detail there, but filing FAFSA makes you eligible for things well beyond Licking County Foundation scholarships that make it worthwhile, even if you're not going to receive money from the federal government. The last section requirement here is that you're letting us know if you receive an offer from us that we can use your name in our press releases and those sorts of things. That's what that release of information is about. And then we ask you to type in your name to serve as your signature. And then these last instructions are important to read because they give you a little more information about what's going to happen next. When you click submit, you're going to get a list of the applications that it's submitting you for, but you do need to read through the details. Once you've read through those details, there's a continue button. And after you click on that continue button, there might be a few additional things you have to do. So I'm going to ask you, Ellen, to go ahead and click submit.
Well, okay.
And this is exactly what you would expect to see. Got a lot of information that it's considering your answers against. So it will take a couple minutes and then you'll get a list of all the different scholarship opportunities. So in our system, there are a little more than 80 scholarship opportunities. So based on the answers you provided, you are eligible for this particular scholarship. You would read these details that you must be a Licking County resident, a high school senior, or current undergrad or adult reentry student, and that the scholarship is renewable for up to 4 years. It also tells you that there's going to be a little bit of supplemental information. So when you click continue, it will show you that that application has been submitted. And so you're finished as far as what you need to do. It has submitted your application for that particular opportunity. And that is the only opportunity based on the answers you provided. So what you see below is a record of your application with all of your answers indicated. You can view that information at any time, but now that you have submitted it, you're not able to edit anything. You would have to contact the foundation if you needed to make a change to something so that we could reset the application for you. So that is the fastest version ever of walking through that application. And I will stop there because I know others need a chance to present. We are available for questions. There are a number of answers already available on our website. If you have questions, that's a great place to look first. But ultimately, that's what's entailed in writing an application. The only other thing I would want to mention is with regard to your essay, because that is a significant element of the scoring of your application. Be sure to have somebody take a look at that for you and proofread it for you before you click submit on your application. Spelling, punctuation, and grammar do account for some of the score, but the vast majority of the scoring comes from how well you responded to the prompt that you chose, and also tell us something about yourself that's real and genuine. Do your best to communicate something about yourself to the evaluators in your answers. Those are the kinds of things that are going to score well when you're writing your essay for this particular scholarship source.
Sorry, hello.
Doing that walkthrough.
Thank you so much, Amy, for that, for the very thorough explanation as to how to apply. There is a lot of steps there, so that was really helpful. Excuse me, something in my throat. Do any of our applicants have questions for Amy? You can drop them in the chat. You can ask now. I will also give you a form with Amy's contact information. So if you are in this process and you know there's a step you don't understand, you can always contact her that way as well.
Absolutely.
So, okay. No questions? Nothing's appearing in the chat. So, Amy, thank you so much for that very thorough explanation. Lots of great scholarship opportunity there for students to take advantage of. So we really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. The one thing I would mention is that it is far more common for high school seniors to have 10, 12, even up to 15 or so options appear when they submit their application. So that's just based on the answers that we quickly moved through and submitted there, as well as the fact that we unchecked the FAFSA being filed. All of those things resulted in there just being this one opportunity that was available. I just want students to know, especially for high school seniors, there will typically be several applications submitted. So when you have this list here at the end, it is much more common for a high school senior to have several more options available to them. So when you fill out this application, you fill it out one time and it submits for everything for which you're eligible. You don't have to fill it out multiple times. It's going to consider your answers against all 80 of our scholarship opportunities.
That's great. That's a lot. That's a lot for the time spent, a lot of money that could be earned. So thank you.
Thank you
much for all of that information. We really appreciate it. Okay, we are going to move on here to Karen, who is going to give us some information on the Goodwill Foundation Scholarship. Karen, I am going to go ahead and go to your the information you sent me. Are you able to, Karen, can you see the information on that page?
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
So if you want to go over that
Okay.
with our attendees, and then I will bring up the website so they can see what it is that they'll be going for.
Okay, great. Okay, first of all, we are a much smaller scholarship program than the Licking County Foundation, but we did begin our program in 2015. And in that time, we've awarded over $285,000 to over 200 recipients. And our scholarships can be used, as you can see, for adult trade schools or career centers. certification programs, or colleges and universities. And the main thing I do want to point out here is adult trade schools or career centers is listed first because preference is given to students attending those institutions. So please note that, when you are thinking about applying. Excuse me. Our deadline is 5 p.m. on February 23rd. And just like with the Licking County Foundation, that is a hard deadline. So at 5:01, you will not be able to submit your application.
Okay.
You will, the application is online at our website. And you're going to want to put the word foundation after the slash. That'll take you directly to our scholarship page. And we're going to go to that here, and we'll show you that.
Here we go.
And the application links are there at the top where it says high school application and college application. And so we do have 2 scholarship opportunities. We have one for, like I said, for the post-secondary, the adult trade schools and colleges and universities, but we also have a scholarship available for high school students who will be attending a high school career center for their junior or senior year of high school. So please note that we do have both of those. And so when you click on that, it'll take you to the application. We don't have to do that now. We'll just make this brief. But I do want you to know that our criteria is very specific. And so when you click on one of those links, it will ask you, and you hit apply, it'll ask you a couple questions to see if you do actually qualify for our scholarships. So that'll help you out. And if you can't answer the questions, the way they'll tell you if both of them have to be yes, or if one or more have to be yes. If you can't do that, then it'll tell you that you are not eligible. So it'll save you from filling out an application that you're not, where you're not eligible for the scholarship.
Okay.
If we can go back to the web page.
Yeah.
I want to see. Okay, there it is. Where it says Foundation Brochure 2022, it's actually our scholarship brochure. And I wanted to let you know that you can click on that and it'll bring that up. Or I can mail you a hard copy of it or email you a copy. And that's where you will find the specific criteria. And that will be on the second page of the brochure. And it's also on the web page. If you want to look at it before you go in to even apply. So it'll give you the criteria for both the high school scholarships and the adult scholarships.
Great.
And then back to the bullet points.
Oh, to your
yes. Well, and there you can, at the bottom there on the webpage, you can see the eligibility tab, and so you can look at the eligibility there. I just have a couple more things on that sheet, and then I'll be done.
Was this the sheet you wanted?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. I wanted to let you know that notification for our scholarship, it takes place by mail, and it'll take place in late May. So everyone receives a letter regardless. I'll also let you know, I didn't put the details on here, but we do actually have 2 sessions, and this is our first session, and the second session will start in June. So just, in case someone misses our deadline of February 23rd, we do have another opportunity beginning in June, and that information will be on our website. It's also on the dates are also on the brochure. And then finally, my contact information. I welcome any question. I want you to get the help you need. If you have, questions about the program or questions specifically about the application process or the application itself, I'm available to answer those. I can be reached, by email or by phone. I do have an extension, but for the best way to reach me is by dialing 0 for our receptionist, because some of the time I am working at home and sometimes in the office, and she can connect you to me either way. And so it's easier for everyone if you dial 0 to reach me. So if anyone has any questions, I went through that kind of fast, but and if anyone that wants more detail, I'm happy to do that, one-on-one, and answer any specific questions you might have.
Sure. Thank you, Karen. Do any of our attendees have questions for Karen and the Goodwill scholarships, or scholarship, I should say? Okay, it's pretty quiet.
Very quiet
So,
out there.
so thank you, Karen. They'll have your information. I'll send it out. Make sure they have it on a document as well with everybody else's. And
Great.
thank you. Janet, would you like to go ahead and go?
Certainly, I can do that.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I'm just going to introduce myself really quickly. I am Janet Fletcher. I'm the financial aid counselor at C-TEC in adult education. I've been in financial aid since 1999. So in April, it will be 23 years. I have a pretty broad background in financial aid. I have worked for a liberal arts school here in Central Ohio. That's where I started in 1999. I've worked for a private school, and now I've been at C-TEC for about 10 years now at a public institution. So I have some broad experience, and I'm going to talk to you first because I'm assuming that most of our audience is are high school seniors or high school juniors, or maybe the parents of high school seniors or high school juniors. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about you're selecting schools, and I'm going to talk to you about federal student aid, how to apply for federal student aid, and then outside scholarships as well. So Ellen has gone to studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov is the U.S. Department of Education's website regarding federal student aid. And it's a wealth of information, not just about federal student aid, but about choosing colleges, how to consider schools. There's so much information on this website. You can spend days and days on it, and I suggest you do. The first tab here is considering schools. And if you click on that tab, it's going to talk to you about how to compare once you have applied at schools and received financial aid offers, how to compare those. There's just a lot of information. There is a tab for parents that it has a lot of information about parents, how to help their children in school, how to excuse me, how to apply for a Parent Plus loan if that is something that a parent is interested in doing. What to do when you complete school, what to do while you're in school and you need to renew your application each year. There's just so much information. Excuse me. Ellen, if you'll go down to the bottom, I'm going to share my favorite link. My favorite link is this one that says explore the financial aid process. I'm not going to have you click that because there is so much information. But I do want, sorry, just a moment. I'm going to take a quick break. Like the rest of us, I think everybody's been sick.
Yeah, it does happen to me too. Sorry, take your time. You're fine.
But that link, explore the financial aid process, it's going to take you to determining your dependency status as an applicant for federal student aid. You are either considered independent and don't have to apply with your parents' information, or you are considered dependent and do have to apply for your parents' information. If you do have to provide parental information, the FAFSA has guidelines on which parent to use. And if you continue to look through this part of that website, it will take you to a diagram. And the diagram is parents, who's my parent when I fill out my FAFSA. So there's just so much information that you need to review and you need to know prior to completing the FAFSA. Another thing that you need to do prior to completing the FAFSA is go to the websites of all the schools that you are interested in. If you are a senior in high school, most likely you have already started admissions applications. The schools have deadlines. They have deadlines for applying for admissions and they have deadlines for applying for financial aid. They also have specific ways they want you to apply for financial aid. Some of them only want you to complete the FAFSA. Some of them have their own application for institutional grant money and institutional scholarships. Some of them require use something called the College Board profile. So you need to go to those school websites. You need to research how they want you to apply, and you need to follow those, and you need to complete those applications prior to the deadlines. Most of them are all going to have you complete the FAFSA. And we're going to talk about the FAFSA. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And this is the only link to completing the FAFSA now. If you scroll back up to the top, Ellen, or if you go back to the home page, yep, right there where it says login, underneath login is create account. Every student, whether they are independent or dependent, that completes the FAFSA has to create what is called an FSA ID, a Federal Student Aid ID. Parents of dependent students have to create an FSA ID. The FSA ID helps you not only complete the FAFSA, but it allows you to electronically sign the FAFSA, and it has to be done. So parents of dependent students will have to go on here and complete and create an FSA ID, and students have to create an FSA ID. You have to have individual email addresses to do that. You have to provide your social security numbers, your dates of birth, and have your own mobile phone numbers. But once you've created that FSA ID, you can then complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA is going to ask for, if you're a senior in high school and you are going to be going to school next year, the FAFSA is going to add, you're going to complete the 22-23 FAFSA. Right now, there are two FAFSAs that can be completed. 21-22, which is the academic year we're currently in, and 22-23, which will be the next year's academic year. You would want to complete 22-23 if you're going to be starting school in the fall. And the 22-23 FAFSA is going to require 2020 tax information or 2020 financial information for the household. If you're a dependent student, it's going to require you to complete your financial information, whether or not you worked in 2020, whether you made any monies, and it's going to ask for your parents' financial information as well. The FAFSA has something called a data retrieval tool that reaches out to the IRS and draws that information in, so that if you use that data retrieval tool, you are unlikely to make an error. Okay. It also reduces your chances of being selected for verification. Being selected for verification means that the FAFSA has instructed the school to collect supporting documentation to make sure that the FAFSA was completed correctly. It sounds scary, but it's really not. It's harmless. The school takes care of that. The school will ask for that information and make corrections to the FAFSA if necessary. Okay, so that link that I shared with you, my favorite link, when searching through that, yep, the one down towards the bottom, the Explore the Financial Aid Process link, when searching through this website, and there is so much information, like I said, you could take 2 days. It is going to help you determine whether you are a dependent student or an independent student, and whether or not you need to complete the FAFSA with parental information or without parental information. It's going to, if you are a dependent student, it is going to share with you the guidelines on determining what parent, if your parents do not live together or are not married, what parent you need to provide information for. It is going to explain special circumstances and how to apply for the FAFSA if you and your family have special circumstances. And again, it's the only link to completing the FAFSA. So once you've explored this website, you're ready to complete the FAFSA. And right here it says fill out the FAFSA form. So scroll down just a little bit. And there's in that link, filling out the FAFSA form takes you to the FAFSA and allows you to begin that process. The FAFSA is not terribly difficult. Each question on the FAFSA, if you click in the information box to the right of the screen, it will tell you where to find the answers to those questions. And like I said, if you link to the IRS data retrieval tool, if your parents completed an income tax return in 2020, it will draw that information in and prevent you from completing, making errors. You as a student, if you completed a 2020 income tax return, can use the data retrieval tool and draw that information in. It prevents you from making an error. Once you have applied for the FAFSA, you also need to make sure that the schools that you're interested in don't have a separate application for institutional dollars. And you can make sure that you do their application as well. The FAFSA is the application for federal grant money and federal student loans. By completing the FAFSA, you're applying for both, but it does not mean that you have to take out those loans should you be approved for loans, and you would be approved for loans. All students are approved for loans unless they have taken out loans in the past and defaulted and failed to repay them. So if you're a high school senior, you have not done that, you are going to be eligible for student loans. You do not have to take out the student loans just because you've completed the FAFSA. You just are applying and you'll find out what your loan eligibility is. Seniors or a freshman in college, if they're a dependent student, is eligible to borrow up to $5,500 for their first year of school, $6,500 for the second, and $7,500 for their junior and senior year. Independent students are eligible to borrow more. An independent student is a student that's over 24, has children, and if they're under 24, they have to be able to provide proof that they support those children and or married. So most seniors in high school are dependent students and have to apply have to complete the FAFSA with parental information. So complete the FAFSA, meet those deadlines, complete any other application that the school has that they require for institutional dollars. Always apply for scholarships, internal scholarships that the college itself offers, and outside scholarships as well. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those. You've heard from Amy at the Licking County Foundation. The Licking County Foundation has 80 scholarships that you can apply for by completing their application. And Knox Licking Goodwill Licking Knox Goodwill, I said it backwards, also has their scholarship. You heard from Karen. There is also a scholarship link that I like to tell everyone about. It's FastWeb, and it's spelled just like it sounds. FASTWEB. So it's fastweb.com. And at FastWeb, you can create a profile, give FastWeb the information about you, what you're interested in, what type of school you're interested in, what you think you intend to major in, and it creates a profile. And then FastWeb sends you information regarding scholarships that you can apply for and tells you how to apply for them. And it really does work. They will email you over and over and over if they find if it's a search engine tool. So when that search is done and it finds scholarships that you fall into the criteria for, it will send you emails and let you know to apply for those. Apply for everything and anything. Okay, the more outside scholarships you get, the less you may have to borrow. And student loans are low interest loans. You have benefits borrowing from the student loan eligibility for the student loan program that you don't have with other loans, but it's still a loan and it still has to be repaid. So if you can replace student loans by being awarded outside scholarships, more power to you. It's the best way to go. Keep applying for those scholarships. Apply, apply, apply. Ohio Means Jobs. I know Ellen's going to talk to you a little bit about that. Ohio Means Jobs is another source that helps fund short-term programs like Licking Knox Goodwill does. They work with us closely. We have adult education programs that are short-term programs, and Licking County Foundation has funding that that may be able to help fund that education. So that's another source, and Ellen's going to talk to you a little bit about that. Again, C-TEC has 12 programs that are Title IV eligible, which means that they're eligible for federal student loans and Pell Grant money. C-TEC Adult Education has other shorter programs that are not eligible, but we were just recently approved for short-term funding by the Ohio Department of Education. So in 22-23, we will be accepting applications for short-term funding, and that funding can pay up to $2,000 towards a short-term program. So that's another way to go. Every school should have links to the opportunities that they offer at that school. We do. We have internal scholarships, and you can find them at C-TEC's website in the adult education side. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yeah, I was going to let you know, Janet, there's a couple questions in the chat. Amy took one of them. So Aaron asked, he's a current junior, and he was wondering when his enrollment opened, and Amy let him know that the application opens October 1st, the year before the school year in question. So for school year 2023-24, you should be able to complete it beginning October 1st. So Aaron, I want to make sure you saw that in the chat and that you knew your question was answered. Yes. Heidi had a question.
Okay.
And what's that?
So let me take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at Heidi's question. I can answer. Heidi, your situation is going to be one of those things that falls under special circumstances. You would, if your daughter spent, the federal government has guidelines on which parent is to apply with the student. Now, the number one question that the federal government asks is, which parent did you live with the most during the last 12 months? If your daughter lived with you, she would apply with your information if she lived with you. If she lived with her and her father equally, then there are guidelines that the Department of Education has to help you determine which of those parents would be the one to file the FAFSA with her. And again, those guidelines can be found on that link that I showed you. It is under determining dependency status. So go back one page, Ellen, and scroll down and click on that link down towards the bottom that says explore the financial aid process. Scroll down for me. And hang on just a moment. I need to get rid of this real quick.
Sorry, I know.
I had that chat up and couldn't see. Yeah. So scroll down for me a little bit. Keep going. There is, let me find that for her. Scroll back up for me. There is a chart on here. Keep going, keep going. Comparing school, accepting, filling out the FAFSA. Click filling out the FAFSA form. Click that one, yes. And then scroll down for me. Keep scrolling. And there is, keep scrolling. There is information on here. Okay, so here, determining your dependency status. Heidi, if you review this, you're going to be able to help her find out who to report. So click where it says reporting parent information, highlighted in blue. If you click that, this is a graph that she can use to determine which parent's financial information she needs to provide when filling out the FAFSA. If she follows that graph, she can't go wrong. And if it ends up being yours because of your situation, and you completed that 2020 FAFSA with your husband, since he is now deceased, you would not include his income. You would just use your projected income. So I hope that answered your question. And I will tell you this, you can contact me here at C-TEC and Adult Education and ask questions like that. I will be more than happy to answer them. Okay, so Ellen has my contact information. And yeah, she does not have to be interested in a program here to ask me those types of questions. I will be more than happy to answer.
Yeah, Heidi, I will send out all the contact information. Hopefully tomorrow. I do have meetings during the day. If not tomorrow, the very beginning of next week. My goal is to do that. So make sure you check your emails. I'll have a document, and Janet will be of wonderful help to you. She always is. So
yeah, and she did put in the chat that she'll contact me. So yes, go ahead and contact me. But that last information that you put in here, yes, you would, even though you filed jointly that year, you would apply with just your information. Yours is a special circumstance, and you may have to provide some information to the schools that she's applying to, but that's the way to complete that FAFSA. And I will be, like I said, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. You can contact me.
Thank you so much, Janet. Always lots of questions, I know, with your portion of the financial aid evening. So thank you so much for your time. And hopefully these people will be able to contact you if they do have some further questions that they need help with.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't hesitate.
Thank
Okay.
you. Just to end the evening, so Ohio Means Jobs contacted me yesterday. They are very short of staff right now. So I am going to take you through how to get scholarship information from the Ohio Means Jobs website. I do not have a lot of in-depth knowledge on this, but hopefully I'll be able to at least guide you to how to go about looking for those scholarships. So again, on the document that I'll send out to you all, there's a link to what I'm clicking on right now. And if you are interested in looking for scholarship information on the Ohio Means Jobs website, you go to ohiomeansjobs.ohio.gov. You go to right here where it says for job seekers. All right, so I'm going to click on this. And then you go down to planning for college. All right, so first you go to for job seekers, you go down to planning for college. I'm going to click on that. And you'll come to this page that has a lot of boxes for you to pick from. If you are looking for their scholarships, you click on pay for college. I know I'm going through this as we have all the websites. Again, the document I'll send out has some of this step-by-step, so you don't have to memorize everything. But just so you know, if you click on the pay for college, there is a little helpful video down here that I've watched, and it does give you some more information on federal student aid. But if you're looking for the scholarship information, you go to this blue button that says launch, find a scholarship. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And then from here, you have to fill out some information. So I would tell you to go straight to this part where it says search for scholarships. Okay. So I am just going to make something up. I'm going to say that my intended major is chemistry. Never in a million years, because that subject made me cry in high school, but I'll put that there. My zip code, I'm going to say is 43221. And I'll give myself a bit higher GPA this time. I'll say not. All right. School year, you have a drop-down menu. So I am going to say that I'm currently a high school senior. I'm assuming most people looking for scholarship information will be. And then you do have to enter a college. I tried to do this without doing that, and you cannot do that. So I am going to say Ohio University. All right, I'm going to click on main campus. All right. And then at this point, I put in my information. I'm going to click the search button. And what has popped up are 2 pages of possible scholarships that I can look for. I consider this kind of shopping for a scholarship. When I went through this, some of these are intentionally easy for students to fill out. I don't know how difficult they are for you to actually win the money from them, but there are some where it's a no essay scholarship. There's a college scholarship contest, and if you click on it, it will give you a brief description of what that scholarship is. Off in this column over here, it'll tell you the deadline for the scholarships. I just think this is a really great way to just go through and look and see what you are eligible for. There's an E-Way scholarship. The one I clicked on earlier had a Minecraft scholarship where you wrote an essay where you argued the educational value of the Minecraft game. So there are all kinds of scholarships for you to look at. I think some of them do depend on your college and your major. Others, I don't think do so much. So this is a great way for you to explore, what it is that you could apply for. And again, some of them are not going to take you all that much time. I don't know what your chances are of earning the scholarship money, but why not if it only takes a little bit of time to fill out the information here. So again, I feel like it's pretty user-friendly. I will send out the document that has the steps that you can go to look for that scholarship information. Yeah, hopefully that was a little bit of help. I'm sorry we didn't have a representative from Ohio Means Jobs to give you more information, but I do have contacts on your sheet. Tanya Troyer and Heidi, who I haven't met, are both on that sheet the document that I will send out to you, and they would be able to give you much more information there. So do I have any questions about the Ohio Means Job scholarship opportunities? I don't see anything popping up in the chat either. So that is pretty much the conclusion of our financial aid meeting. There were a few of you, I know you came in a little after the meeting had started. Doggone it, sorry. I want to go back. Or not. Okay. So if you did come in after I asked for your contact information, there's a place here for you to scan this QR code with your phone, and it will take you right to the financial aid Google form. And again, this is the only way that I can send out information to you once this meeting comes to an end. So if you would do that, and I am also going to one more time. Let me see here. I think I can. I'm going to open this, and I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time if it helps you to do it that way. I did just post the link in the chat, and you can just click on that and go straight to that Google Doc. I really need you to do that so we have your emails and we can get the information to you. So that is really it. I'm going to stay on here for a little while longer. If anybody has any questions or you're having trouble with the Google form, you can ask me. But that pretty much concludes our financial aid meeting. I really want to thank our presenters. Amy had to duck out, but Janet, Karen, thank you so very much for your time and your information. And to everybody else who joined us, I hope you found this beneficial and you'll be able to use some of the information you got here. So thank you so much. questions? Okay. On this last slide, I'll give you my, if any of you are still there listening, I have my contact information here, my email, enixon@c-tech.edu. You can also always call me, 740-364-2279. Janet, were you going to chime in?
There are some more questions on the chat. I just wanted you to let you know that I'm going to answer them before I am out of here.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. All right.
I got to thank you for the information. Did you see other other questions? There's Heidi who had a question for you.
I was wrong. I was looking at it incorrectly. So yes, I already answered Heidi, and I don't see anything else.
Yeah, I think we're good. So
Okay,
thank you, Janet. I really appreciate it.
you're very welcome.
All righty.